Hello there. Tuesday. New block in a minute. Gonna be all good. All good. We like this. First of all, I've got to just say thank you to everybody that's putting their photos on. There's some fabulous stuff going on. I keep saying this, but it's just lovely to behold. Sally put on 3 Witter quilt tops all done. Unbelievable. Look, I don't know if you've seen these. For those of you that aren't on Facebook, have a little look. I mean, they're not the best that I've been able to print, but it gives you an idea of what's going on. You know how bright and colourful mine were. Look at how tasteful these are. I am so chuffed with you lot. You're doing really, really, really well. I'm so pleased. I sit here in my little cupboard, as I've said before, in Cornwall, wittering away, because it's what I do, and wondering whether or not the hell I'm actually doing any good. There we are. And I see things like this and I think, oh, that's good. I'm going to carry on. It's good. Somebody out there's doing it. And judging by all your messages, thank you. Yeah, it is appreciated. And it makes me feel like actually I'm not wasting my time. Because you never know. You never really know. You don't. Right, okay, so what we've got, those were all the 9 patch ones that we've done in the first session of lockdown, for want of a better expression. Now we're on to sort of, I'm still keeping it all traditional because it's easiest for just a quick inspiration, how to, what to. As I've said before, the proper full-on classes that I'll do will be online, and they're in my patterns and stuff that you can purchase if you want. But there's this lot we're doing now are 5 patch. So the 3 hanging up behind me here, and today's new one for you. There we go. All right, hopefully at first glance, it's called Double Basket, this one. And you can see you've got your traditional baskets and 2 more going on. When you're piecing this one, if you're, how to say this, if you're really going for it and you're very good and you can stitch around cornery things, that's lovely. But actually, traditionally, they wouldn't necessarily have done that. They would break up an area that was awkward into smaller pieces of the same fabric to make it doable and easy. Why struggle? Yeah. So what you'll find with this one, in order to bring it back into straight line stitching and easiest way possible, the 2 middle cream areas, that's why I've done them cream so you can see them quite clearly, are split into 3. So you've actually got a 2-inch square there, and then you've got 2 half triangles each side to make that triangle. Yeah, and the same here. These big ones, because they're just straightforward, you can leave big. But the smaller ones, if you don't make them small, it becomes a real difficult, intricate block to try and piece. Okay, so what I've done, I have done your what to, how to again. All right, so one of them. I don't know if you can see it on there, but the cream areas I've sort of just shaded a little bit so that you can see that's the area that you want to use the same fabrics for 3 pieces to get the shape. All right, and I've put the order in which I joined them. All right, so I do believe, let me get this around the same way as the pattern in my head. If I do that, then I can see what I'm doing. Right, okay, so I think I started, I put the 2 together there, the 2 together there, and joined. 2 and 1 and joined, and then joined that to that. Then I did this little piece here and joined that to there. This one obviously easy, joins on the end of there, and then you get a fat strip. Yeah, then you do the middle, which is quite straightforward. Work your way from one end to the other, okay, whichever way suits you, and you get a thin strip. Yeah, so then that joins to your top one. All right, and then you're looking at the bottom one again, and you're joining it in the same way, but from the other end. So little bits, bit to bit, little bits to bit, big one to bit, and then you get another strip in effect and put it on the bottom of your square. So you've got 3 strips going on. All right, hence the breakup of that one particular piece into several different bits, because then you can just chuck them together quite simply. You could, as I say, piece them as holes, but you're going to get into intricacies, and intricacies with triangles, which is even more fraught than with squares. If you're doing it with triangles, don't forget, as I've often said, I think, handle them as little as you can, because they're cut on the bias, so across you weave, as it were, weaving weft and all of that sort of stuff, because it's going across. It allows it to open and stretch. That's the whole thing about bias and bias tape. You know, if you're going to go around a circle or something, this will stretch nicely around the circle. So what you don't want is your triangles being handled too much that they then start stretching on you. And if you're doing intricate, weird piecing around corners and points and stuff, it can become quite fraught if they get distorted. So it's easier, just do it the old-fashioned way, straight across, simple. Yeah, and I know certainly if you're doing by hand, that's what I would do. Make up my templates and away I go. Talking of templates, I must talk to our little Andy. See how he's doing with our set of templates for this, because I've actually got quite a few of these in mind for you. It's quite wicked. They might get a little bit smaller even, and more intricate. A lot of it, as I've said before, comes down to your fabric placement, colour placement. If you actually look at that as opposed to that one, you can just see it's all mostly half triangles done at different angles, or, you know, different directions. But it's the colour placement that gives you the design, yeah? So I fully expect that other people's will come out totally different to mine. It's each to their own. I quite fancied, I've put the dark round there purposely, so it sort of boxed that area, yeah? And then at the bottom, I've introduced the blue now, and as I say, the cream, and I think that will break up nicely. If I put that in front of my face, like that, you can probably see all four of them then. I think that's going to work, putting the blue and the cream in there. It's going to give us a lot more option, or me a lot more option, and I've managed to use the one that I love, the one that I've not used a lot, so that's all good, isn't it? It's very exciting. Gonna have another little, I did say I was going to do a runner, but being as we're going to be here for a little bit longer, I think I'm going to do like I did before, and just keep producing squares until I've got enough to make a quilt top, because I can use them for teaching afterwards, which is always very good. Obviously, use out there, you do as many or as few of these as you want to make them into anything you fancy. You know, 4 of those put together. Can you imagine that repeated 4 times? Very lovely, I think. Nice little top, you know, tabletop. Or it could be the side of a big bag, or that could put a nice big board around it. Got a little bag going on, or a cushion or something. So, you know, don't, just because I'm doing things quite large, that's for convenience for me and time saving, because actually this takes me quite a while every day doing all of these things. And so at the end of it, if I've got one big piece, that makes life easier for me and for use for future, because I can use them as teaching aids, which I'm actually really quite chuffed about. So it's very productive for me, as well as hopefully keeping you all doing a bit of something interesting. So there we go. Do, as I say, put them into strips if you can, all right? It'll just make your life easier. Right, there we go. So that is, as I say, double basket, and then I'll get another one going ready for you, all right? It's all very good here, isn't it? There's that and there's that. Not a lot more to say. I was very lucky yesterday. I went for a stroll on a beach. Oh, that was lovely. I actually had, and I seriously did have a day off. I tell you I have a day off on a Monday and Friday, but actually I'm busy catching up with everything I'm not getting done. But I actually had a day off, which was rather lovely. I went and met a friend, and we had a socially distanced walk up the beach. Fab. Just that little bit of relaxation of the rules. What a difference that's made to be able to talk to people. Lovely. So there we are. So I had a nice little hour there, and then came home, made me block ready for you. I'd already started it, but I got that done. What else did I do? Oh, yes. Oh, bit of a quilt design going on in the brain cell here. I don't know if I said, I think I did say. Do you know, I forget what I tell you all. Brain cell. I ordered some extra fabrics the other day, due in any day. And I've got a bit of a design going on in my head that I need to sit and sort out. And what I'm hopeful to do is, if this works out like I think it might, it's going to be quite simple, but it's going to be colour wise. It's going to be all greys and things. I think I said this. And I'm going to do half a dozen kits. Seems like a plan to me. If it comes out nicely, that you can purchase and make yourself, I'll write out the plan. So that sounds good. I reckon, I say half a dozen, I might be able to get 10 out. We'll see. It'll be a limited number, so it will be sort of like a limited edition thing, and it'll be the fabrics and how to, and this new design. And it's not going to be a difficult design. It's actually quite simplistic, and it's going to be reliant mostly on the fabric, I believe. So that's what I'm thinking. Until you make something up, you really don't know. Until, you know, I say make it up. You make it up as a design first, but then make it up actually in the fabrics. You don't really you just don't know. It's like this one here that I did. I had a bit of an idea, and as I was chopping it, oh yeah, that'll do. And when you put it together, you think, oh yeah, no, I quite like that. But I don't know if you've ever noticed, I know certainly it amazes me every time, there's sort of different stages of the process and how things look, in my mind, with quilts. You get your design first, and you think, oh yeah, I can do this. And then you cut your fabrics and you lay it out, and I think, oh yeah, no, that's nice, quite like that. And then you start putting it together, and when it's put together, it looks different again. It's like, oh yeah, I really love that. And that's nice, and you've got to the blocks. And then it's like, well, what do I do with the blocks? And then we put them with, I don't know, sashings or borders or whatever else. And it's like, oh yeah, that's really cool. And then you quilt it, and it changes the whole look of it all over again. So you've got all these different stages, to me, which is really very exciting, each stage. And as I'm getting, I might be waning a bit on something, and you think, well, you know what, let's put the sashing in, and it's like, oh yeah, no, this is really cool, and you're off and running again. And I think this is where we have our UFOs, our unfinished symphonies, or whatever else you want to call them, projects half done. There's so many different acronyms for these things now. I've got 6 crates of them, literally 6 crates of part done, and we're not talking with waddings and things in. We're talking design, so you can imagine. And that's nothing to do with the 7 quilt tops that are over there that need quilting. But I think our attention wanes, doesn't it? And I have to say, I think every quilter out there probably, not just quilters, probably all sorts of dressmakers and stuff, you've probably got several things on the go at the same time. And it might not be the same discipline. You might be doing patchwork, you might be doing embroidery, you could be knitting, I crochet in between if I fancy it. You know, there's so many different things. And I'm sure it's a bit of a butterfly mind thing going, but I'm sure that's why I'm getting at. We get UFOs is because you have all these different stages, and if you get a little bit bored at one stage and you can't imagine what's the next stage going to look like, I think your attention wanes, and we probably put them to one side, and then we maybe don't go back to them. If you're doing that, remember, no, don't leave your pins in. If you do put it to one side, don't ever leave pins in, because if you go back to it 6 years' time, they could well be rusted into place, and that's not very nice. It becomes a whole new design then. I know this, I've done it on several occasions. Just don't do it. Oh, and that's the other thing, while I'm thinking of it, tacking. I'm back to my hexagon type stuff. I think we've all, or at some point, had an English paper pieced over, you know, papers. So hexagons and Dresdens and tumbling blocks and all these sort of things. I think we've all got one that's sort of on the back burner and could be donkey's years old, and you've probably even inherited one. I've inherited several. Don't ever tack with a red thread. Especially not if it's a cheap red thread, because what happens is you take the tacking out and you get all these little red pin marks, or spots, I should say, cotton marks. Yeah, so there we go. Don't do that. I inherited one, and it was lovely, and I did actually work it on. I thought I'm only going to do a small thing from it, but I'll work it out and edge it to do. And I took all the tacking out, as you do, and there's all these little red pin marks, which actually is quite sweet because it's actually over the whole thing, so it looks like, yeah, okay, it's sort of semi-intentional. But don't ever tack in reds or in any thread colour that you think might run, because it's all very well you're enthusiastic at the time, but it might be that your interest wanes and you don't get to it for whatever reason, or like me, you get off onto other designs and things, and that has to take a back burner. And then you get this interesting thing going on that maybe you don't want. So no pins in your work, so rustiness, and no red threads. Another useless piece of information going on there. Right, okay, so what have we got to do today? We have 3 things to do. We need to do a bit of exercise. Do you know what? I'd forgotten what it's like going up and down the beach in the sand. Oh, that does pull on the legs in the morning when you've not done that for a long while. It's like, oh, I need a bit more exercise. So yeah, I'm going to go around the garden a bit and up the road, I think, today. Could be a post office trip going on the way because I think there's something in the order bin needs doing. So we'll do that. What else? Saying hello to everybody. As I say, I got to talk to somebody yesterday. Lovely. So be talking to friends and be doing things, but still please be wary of everything we're supposed to be doing. Yeah. So that's good. And what else? What else? Tidy. Nah, not happening. Don't like doing that, so we forget that one for the day. I'm going to play. As I say, I've got this new design going around in my brain cell, and also I did start the other day. Oh, let me show you. This was about a week or 2 ago, and I think I mentioned it at the time. What is it? What have I done with it? Oh, what have I done with it? I think I did say, she just leaves you all to it for a minute there. I'd fancied doing a daisy. I had a daisy in my brain, didn't I? And I was going to do that and write it up and everything. Well, I made it, or the top anyway. I haven't written the pattern yet, but I might do that later actually. But look, is he up the right way? Daisies. He's all did. I was going to make him into a cushion. But he is at a stage now that actually I can write that design up. I quite enjoyed making that. That was on one of my days off, because these things have to be done. And actually, I'll ask you a question. I've got these fabrics. Would you be interested in kits? That's a question, isn't it? Totally up to you. Yeah, there we are. And my thought is that you have enough fabric to do 2. Which would mean that you could do a plain background if you wanted a plain background as opposed to a half and half, or you could have 2 half and halves, other way rounds or whatever. Your thoughts on that would be a good one. Thank you. Yeah, any comment on that? And then I'll get that one done and into the shop because I reckon that will look quite jolly. So yeah, there we are. That's my day. I've got loads to be doing. And what's the time now? It's now 6:45 in the morning. And I'm going to upload this, so you've all had an early witter today, because I was up at about 4:30 this morning. And out here and ready and doing. Yeah, so have a lovely day and be lovely.